Hi, my name's T and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you are a current Teacup subscriber. If you are not subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe right now. Like, comment, and subscribe, please, on this video. We have reached 500K. Yay! I'm so excited. I've been working on my way to 1,000,000 for a while, and I may not be always consistent, but I do tend to be consistent when I am on a stride. Hopefully, this is the new momentum of where we're starting. Whoa. I have been on a journey. If you have not seen Beauty in Black on Netflix, Tyler Perry series, please check it out. I play Baddies on the show. I am the bottom bitch. I am the head stripper of Delinda's strip club. So you guys are gonna want to check that out. It's a really good show. It's #2 on Netflix right now. And I'm so excited for everything that's to come with the rest of the show and the rest of my journey in acting and my career. A lot of people know me from Baddies. I did one season. I did Baddies East, even though I'm a West Coast girly. I did Baddies East. But a lot of people also know me from Wildin' Out, and a lot of people know me from Vine. I have a very long journey in the industry and where I started and how I started. And I always see like people in my comments, or like, you know, just saying like, well, I know her from this and you don't know her and you haven't been around. And it's like, maybe I need to clear some things up. Like, maybe I need to like break down my resume, or at least just give a journey and a story on how I got to where I am right now. So let's get into it, okay, honey child. I remember I first started in the industry when I was about 15 years old. So I started doing modeling. I started taking like pictures. Instagram at that time didn't exist. Taking pictures with photographers. And I remember being posted on like Facebook, and a manager had like noticed me and wanted me to be one of his models, to come under his like management group that he had. The first thing I had booked was Travis Porter A Ladies music video. So I knew he was like he could get me in music videos as a model and stuff like that, but I also was like trying to break my way into print. But that just wasn't his specialty. But at least I was like getting in like the industry. I wanted the director to know that I could act, like I was an actress. Come here. So he gave me a role like in the music video where like Travis Porter rushes in, and like I'm like, hey, get out, whatever, right? So it was like I was like, oh my God, like I'm doing it, you know? So, and I remember that going like viral, and like to this day, people still recognize me from that video. And it's so funny, like that was like I feel like the start, because before then when I was modeling, I was just doing things for like people I knew, or like if they were trying to start a clothing line, you know, or just any type of like promotion that they needed for like their club or something. Like that's what I was doing. And this is like, yeah, this was like at age 15, but you know, she was grown, honey. So that was like my first music video. And from there, with that manager, I started booking more music videos. Like I remember I worked with like E40, Too Short, 2 Chainz, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, just like all of kind of like the OGs in the game. I mean, I did a couple of other music videos too for like Little Mix, and I did a music video for like a rock and roll band. I can't remember their name, but there was like a whole bunch of different avenues that I was going in the music video industry, because I was animated. So they were like, okay, yeah, she can be sexy and she can dance, but she can also be funny. Oh, like I was in a Jasmine Sullivan music video, and my boyfriend was like a puppet, and like I was like cussing him out and stuff like that. So like that was like a thing for me for a while, like doing music videos, all the while you know, growing older in the industry, 16, 17, you know, and being like, okay, let me get into doing like movies or film or commercials or some, like, how can I get in that type of stuff? So I started doing background for a lot of shows. I did background for a lot of commercials, and like I said, same thing. Like, I would always try to like be very like personable with the director, because then if they noticed that, you know, I had a personality, or that like I could be more than background, then they would give me a chance and put me in front of the camera, or maybe they'll remember me next time if I ever had an audition with them or things like that. So there was a couple of times where I would know the director from another video or from another commercial or background thing that I worked on. So they would be like, hey, and they would put me in the front, or I would get a bump, or I would be extended. I worked background for Real Husbands of Hollywood. And I got to, that was like the first time I met Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Nelly, and all of the people that worked on that show. And I, usually you work background one day, maybe 2 days, but they extended me for the whole season because I was a good vibe, because I was a nice girl, because I made myself noticeable, and because I showed my personality, So they had me always there. Like, I was there for one full season, and I got a title for my character. Like, I was a waitress. So I got to use that on my IMDb. That would help scale me to continue growing in the industry. Like, oh, well, she was on, Real Husbands of Hollywood. And then that actually got me on Think Like a Man too, also as background, because of just making the connections of just casting directors and people, like, and directors and other actors, and them recognizing me or remembering me and being like, yeah, she's cool, like, she's nice, like, she's not a weirdo, basically. So that's kind of like, that was like a whole minute for me for a while, because there were so many films that I had worked on in the background that I mean, at that time, I was a starving actress, like, I was, music videos paid really well, so that was helpful. But you were lucky if you didn't have to work a regular job, and just be able to work in the industry. So I made everything count. Like, we got food on set. Like, that was my lunch, that was my dinner, that was my, like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, I didn't have to worry about that day. You know what I mean? There would be days that I would, like, sleep in my car. I would crash auditions if I knew that there were auditions that were coming up that I thought maybe I was fit for. Like, the casting director didn't call me in, but I would just walk in the door if I knew where the audition was, or if I had a friend tell me, hey, there's an audition for this, you should come. So there was a lot of, like, finessing that I did to like get through to that type of stuff. But yeah, I continued to model and do e-commerce. And then I remember I did a music video for T.I. and Chris Brown. It was called Private Show. And I was just, kikiing with all the girls. There was probably like 10 of us. I remember at that time I lived in Vegas, and I drove down for the audition, and it was supposed to be a dancer. And, I'm not like a professional dancer, but I can dance, I can move a little something. I can remember an 8 count. You know what I'm saying? So I busted my ass from Vegas to LA, and I did the audition, and they picked me. And then with the girls on set, we were having a vibe, and the girls were like, T.I. came in, and he was like, who in here be talking the most? And everybody pointed at me, and he was like, cool, come here. And I was like, oh shit, what's happening? Like, oh God. And he like wrote something on a napkin, and he was like, can you memorize? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, memorize these lines. We end in the scene. And I was like, oh shit. So they were like, they put me on a bed, and the bed was like a movable bed. And I was like, oh my God. So I laid on the bed, and I said my lines. And one of the casting directors that I got really close with over time, and a lot of you guys probably know, I knew Emails when Emails was a manager. He wasn't necessarily casting yet. Now he has so many different things. He has so many different business ventures, but Emails emails made that like a moment for me, along with so many other times he's booked me. But he literally booked me at a club. I remember he booked me at a club, and that was also another thing I was doing. I was doing club hostings at the same time. And yes, at those times, you know, I was a little young, but I had my little ID, and I made sure I got it where I could fit in. But by this time, I think I was 21. Yeah, with this one. And I booked a club appearance, and it was like the most I ever got paid for club appearance. I was so happy. And everybody made it a big deal, like, she said I got a speaking role. But it was a big deal because it was like, I'm not stupid, and everyone knows it now. Like, no, like, I can talk, I can act. And I remember being so nervous, and like it just, but it happened, and and that video is like amazing. That video is an amazing video. I did have a spot on All Deaf Digital. They had a comedy series that they also collaborated with World Star Hip Hop, and that was like my first a series regular job, because I had already been doing Vine at that time, and I think everybody was just, you know, collaborating at that time to, you know, try to get followers on Vine, and Instagram came and stuff like that, so everybody was just working together. But that's how I kind of like met people, and I had booked this like horror movie, but it ended up not happening. But the guy that I booked the horror movie ended up being the person that was the writer for the World Star headquarters show that they had on All Deaf Digital. And so he was like, hey, you would be good in this. And then so that was like the first time I ever did like a series regular, and that show's still up, and it's funny. It's really funny. Like, it was definitely funny at the time, so it was a good show. And then after that, that's when I think I booked my first national commercial. I booked Google, a Google national commercial, and it was for Chromecast. And I remember it being a kind of a bad experience for me because the wardrobe people just weren't nice to me on set. And they made me feel very uncomfortable. I don't think I'll ever forget how they made me feel. I think that was definitely like one of the first times I realized people will treat you different if you're not like some skinny white girl. You know what I mean? And they made me feel that way, especially when they were putting on clothes on me. And I mean, at this time, my body didn't look the way that it looks now, but I was still hippie. And they were complaining about clothes not fitting me and things like that when we literally had a fitting before the set. But anyway, there was like 3 other commercials that were competing for the one national spot, so that all of those commercials got shot in one day. And I remember being like, oh God, like, I got a trailer, like, this is cool, you know, like, this is gonna be big, and trying not to like let what was going on set get to me. And it ended up working out. Like, our commercial, it was based off comedy. It was super funny. And they picked my commercial to be the national commercial. Oh, that was really cool. And then from there, because I had booked a Google commercial, that kind of helped me get an agent to get me into bigger auditions, into better auditions. And at that time, it was just like commercial after commercial. Yeah, and then for a while, I kind of like started sitting back a little bit, and I think that was because like my ex-boyfriend's career started to do pretty well, so I was like, okay, he's the actor of the 2 of us. I kind of just felt like that for a while, so I started like focusing on getting like a big girl job and stuff. I think I kind of fell into like it being easy for me because I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm pretty, people will book me for music videos in e-commerce, and like that's what I was kind of like doing at the time. And I stopped doing like commercials, and I stopped going out for auditions, because I remember like having agents and like doing like I remember auditioning for a Marvel movie, and like auditioning for like some big things and not taking it seriously. But fast forward, I finally, me and him broke up, and then I started going crazy on social media. I was like, I'm gonna act a fool on social media. I don't care. I don't care. I have nothing to lose now. Like, and I had seen so many people becoming like rich off of social media. So I was like, yeah, I need to come up with something. So that was when I came up with the brand, and the, you know, everybody knows me as, hi, my name's T. And then from there, you know, my Instagram blew up. In between that time, I remember auditioning for Wild 'N Out, and I wasn't even auditioning for a comedian. I was auditioning for a Wild 'N Out girl. I was like, I just want to be a girl. I just want to be cute, and I just want to be up in there and be like, yep, like that's all I wanted to do. And they were like, no. They told me no 2 times, and I was like, damn, maybe I'm not that cute. No, I didn't think that, but I just felt like, fuck them. They don't want me. Fuck them. But then when I was doing my Instagram comedy skits, everybody was like, you should audition for Wild 'N Out. And I was like, they're right. I should audition for Wild 'N Out. I was like, I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to tag Nick Cannon. And by this time, I'm like 22, 23. And so I posted on there, I want to audition for Wild 'N Out. And I said, everybody tag Nick Cannon. So they were tagging him, whatever. And then I remember one of my friends at the time had told me, why don't you just DM him? So I went to go DM him, and he had already DM'd me like 3 months ago before I even made the post, and was like, hey, we would love to have you audition for Wild 'N Out. And I was like, oh my God. And that brings me back to, because they had flew me to Atlanta, that brings me back to, I did have a moment where I had an upcoming role for BET, where I was supposed to be like a host for like BET music, and they flew me out to New York, and they met me, and this is probably like, I was probably like 20, or yeah, like around 20 years old at the time. And yeah, they didn't end up picking me. They ended up picking somebody else, but he's so cool. And every time we see each other, we're like, hey, because we remember like that moment. But I remember thinking like, wow. So BET flew me out, and now MTV's flying me out, and I was like, whoa, like, yeah, like, I feel like I'm doing it, like, like, I feel like maybe I got some here, right? So yeah, they flew me over there to Atlanta, and I did a workshop. So it was like 2 days, I think, and I did it, and then they liked me. And there was a lot of people there, and I was like, dang, like maybe I won't be that funny. But then they thought I was so funny. Like, I had everybody laughing in the room, and it was nerve-wracking because you're like on a stage and people are like sitting at a table, and it's all dark where they are, and there's like these bright ass lights on you. It's like, oh fuck. But I did it, and I booked that shit, did that whole season. And I was supposed to do it for 3 seasons or 4 seasons. I can't remember. I was contracted though. I was supposed to do it. But then they ended up, I was there for like 2 months, and they stretched out me throughout the seasons. They loved me there. But honestly, it was so hard for me. Like, no one liked me on set. No one. I felt like no one liked me. Everyone was so mean. Like, everyone is all like happy like on stage, and they're like woohoo, da, 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 making everybody laugh, but people are fighting in the back, like, oh my God. And I was like, I remember like I would never let them see, but like I would go home, I would go back to my hotel room, and I would be like, fuck, and I would call my boyfriend at the time, or my grandma, and I had my assistant with me, and I would just be so upset. Like, I was mean to everybody because I was so sad, and I would cry. Oh, they would pick me apart. They picked my face apart. They picked my body apart. They picked my comedy apart. They picked my talent apart. They said I was a hoe, and everyone laughed. And I was just like, I felt like I had no friends there. I felt like I was trying to make friends with some people there, and they would be my friend, but then they would be mean to me behind my back, or talk shit about me, or just try to get information from me about something else. Especially because at that time I was I was sponsored by like Fashion Nova, and I was getting a lot of endorsements on social media. So it was just like people were just trying to use me for a lot of things on that show. But I mean, Nick was amazing. Like, he was probably him in like production. They were the best. Like, the production part of it was cool. There was a few people on production that were kind of mean too overall, but I felt like that wasn't my family. Like, I felt like that wasn't for me. Like, I was like, I don't think that this is the set for me, you know? And it was hard to walk away from that. But I felt like if I stayed there too long, then people would think I'm just a comedian, because I had already been doing Instagram comedy like so much. And that brings it up to also like just remembering other things that I had did, like I had worked for Master P when I was younger as well, like as his assistant. And from there he wanted me to go on Growing Up Hip Hop. And the producers kept trying to have me be mean to Angela Simmons and like question her and stuff like that. And it didn't like the way it made me feel. And I was broke at that time, and they were giving me a good amount of money per episode. Like, normally people don't get paid that much, especially if like they weren't known. Like, I was not known at that time. And I worked at Playboy radio station with Master P, and like it was like I liked working for him, but I feel like people would see me when it came to like film. They would get like weird with me. Like, they would be like, they want to use me in a certain way or just put me in a certain light. And I remember being like, I can't do this. Like, after one episode, I was like, I'm not doing this. And P was like, oh, he was so irritated with me because he had them draft up my contract and everything like that. But I was like, same thing. It was same thing. Like, I didn't feel right about that. I didn't feel right about being mean to Angela, and I just didn't feel right about that. So that one, I didn't like it. But then Wildin' Out, it was more so like the environment and how they were treating me. It both kind of goes hand in hand. So yeah, after Wildin' Out, I came home, booked a CoverGirl commercial with Issa Rae. And I'm in the commercial for like a split second, but I was a lead. I was a principal. Like, I was like, I cried when I booked that because I really wanted it. And I was like, oh my God, because once you're a cover girl, you're a cover girl forever. I was like, yes. And then I had booked an eBay commercial, and it was for Super Bowl. So that was so awesome. I was on Dutch. That was my first movie. And at the time, it was just straight on BET. It's a book, and I knew the producer. I met the director, so the producer already knew who I was, but the director, I got introduced to him by a friend, and he was like, yeah, you should put her in the movie. She'll be great in the movie. She can act. And he was like, I believe you. And I didn't even have to audition for the role. And like, my husband in the movie was OT Genesis. And it was a fun set. It was a long set though. Like, that was the first time I ever like experienced like film. So I was like, ooh, this is very different than a lot of like other things that I had worked on before. So that was my first film. And now it's on Tubi, and I'm pretty sure it's still on BET, and it's on Amazon Prime. And then I remember my friend Wes Good, he was directing this movie, and it was like just like a chill movie, like, because realistically he just hit me up on the phone and was like, hey, I have a character you could play, can you come in today? And I was just like, yeah, I got you. So I pulled up and I shot the scene that they wanted me to shoot. And it was with a scene partner that I used to always like do videos with on Vine and Instagram skits. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And it just like worked. And then that movie, Summer with the Guys, is on Tubi. And then Marcus Houston wanted to work with me for a while, and we were always trying to figure out how I was going to be in one of his films. And it was the You're Not Alone film, and I opened the scene, and he was like, it's gonna be like because it's a horror film, he was like, it's gonna be like Drew Barrymore and Scream. And I was like, oh, like she opens the movie. And I was like, oh my God, how iconic. I was like, okay, I gotta get into this. Like, I gotta take this more seriously or something. Like, I need to be auditioning. And so I started auditioning for little stuff. Um, and I remember auditioning for House Party. I didn't book the role. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know, on to the next. Like, it was just like, you just keep going, you know, you keep auditioning and stuff like that. And in the beginning, I wasn't getting that many auditions, but I was getting enough. Wasn't getting just auditions from like a manager. I was also getting auditions from directors, because they would contact me on like Instagram or my email and stuff like that. So I had auditioned for this one show, and I had booked it, but then the show got canceled because COVID happened. And I was like, because after COVID, we weren't really doing in-person auditions anymore. So everything was on the phone. Everything was like, you have to tape it and send it in at a certain deadline. And I was like, okay, I need to find like a professional place. I found my self-tape place. I get another House Party audition, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I go and I do the audition, and then boom, I booked it. And I was like, oh shit, hell yeah, let's go. Yeah. So then I went to go film House Party, and I was like, oh, this is so good. This is so big. Like, I'm in a reboot. And I was there for like a week. Then I shot with the cast. They were already shooting. And yeah, I got cool with the director like I do. And then the director's assistant had called me in for like a favor. They're like, hey, we know this is last minute, but do you think you could play a cameo role in White Man Can't Jump? Because it was the same director from House Party. And I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, just give me that coin. I'm there. So I was there. I shot my scene for them. And then that got me with a new agency. All of that led me to a new agency. And then when I was with them, I was constantly auditioning at that point, and just meeting new casting directors. Like, I was in front of casting directors I had never been in front of before. I did 2 years of Rolling Loud too, and I did Hot Tea also. And then after that, Baddies, because I remember I had met Lemmy at Yasmin's birthday party. I think some of you guys may know her as Yummy. She was on Real Chance of Love, but he was at her birthday party, and he was like, how don't I know you? And I was like, I don't know, I'm T. And he was like, you need your own show on my network. And I was like, okay. And I was like, maybe I should hit him up and see about like, maybe I should go over there and do reality TV. So I went in and I talked to him, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I can have my own show. Because I remember that's like how we originally had spoke. And he was like, yeah, we could talk about that. And I was like, or I could just be on Baddies, because that's like your biggest show. And he was like, you want to be on Baddies? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, do you know how to fight? And I was like, yeah. He was like, well, it's celebrity audition anyway, so like you could just be one of the celebs. Like, you don't have to audition or anything, obviously. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, and I'll just be like the comedy relief. He was like, okay, yeah, come on, I want to introduce you to everybody. From there, that's when I met everybody at Zeus Network, and everybody was like, cool, hi. And that was nice. And then, yeah, from there, they drafted my contract, and then I was gone with them on the road. My focus during that show was like to build a bigger fan base when it came to like women and music. The YouTube is going to go up. The Instagram is going to go up. Sales are going to go up on Shopify, and streams are going to go up with music. So I use that platform to basically build my brand more. And then when I got home, I kept auditioning, and the audition that I had come through was a Tyler Perry audition. But I have been auditioning for Tyler probably for like maybe 4 years. Like, he's called me in, and I've personally DM'd him, and he does not check his DMs, so he doesn't check them. But I literally told him, I was like, I'm your next star. Like, I'm that girl. Like, you need to book me, because I know that you call me in and you wanna, and like he was auditioning me, so I was like, I know there has to be something for me because they keep calling me in. But that's also really up to the casting director. So shout out to Kim Coleman. She calls me in frequently, and I'm so grateful. I got a call back, and they flew me to Atlanta, and I auditioned for the show, and it was like in a big theater on Tyler Perry Production Studio lot. It was crazy. It's huge. And he was there in the crowd, and I auditioned for him, and it was for not the role of Body, it was for a different role. And I was like, I did my audition. I was like, ooh, like, I hope you liked it. Like, after, like, I was like, it was grounded. I feel like I did good. and then he was like, out of nowhere, I just heard Tamara, and I was like, oh my God, Medea. But he was like, I want you to audition for another role. And he gave me the script, and I went out and I studied those lines probably for like 15 minutes I had, and then they called me back in, and then I auditioned for Body, and then we flew home, and I got the call that I booked it, and I was like, yay. I was like, yeah, this is fire. And I knew I was gonna be on Netflix, so that was like exciting and stuff like that. But I mean, I also grew up watching Tyler Perry as a kid, and always being like, he was somebody I wanted to work with, and someone who is like really inspiring just from everything that he's been through to where he's at now. And I'm just so happy I got to create like that personal relationship with him, and knowing that like he's not just an amazing like professional, he's not just, you know, just a director, he's an amazing person, man, human being. Like, wow. So but I didn't know, kind of, I feel like I didn't know what to think of everything. I just knew that like I was like, okay, when I get to Atlanta, that's all I'm gonna focus on. And also I feel like also I got more serious during after I booked House Party, because I lost my Instagram. My Instagram went down, and I didn't have an Instagram, and I was like, damn, like, what am I gonna do now? I don't have a fucking brand. Like, and I was like, damn, I need to like figure out what else I can do with my life, if, you know, if all this shit like was to like fall down one day. And like I want to be on the big screen. And so then yeah, like I took it more serious, and I ended up getting my Instagram back, but I didn't have my Instagram for almost like 6 months. It was down, like I couldn't log in or anything like that, and had to pay someone to get it back for me. But yeah, fast forward to where we are now. I just stayed in that character. Like I was just like, that's all we did. Like, and I just hung out with my cast and my crew. While we were on set, I was like, I want to write a book. Like, I want to write just like an ebook about how to get social media famous, the fame game, and that's on my Shopify too. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I felt like I had did something also, like while I was in my character, like I also did something for like my brand. So I wasn't just like shutting everything out, but I definitely, like, that was like, I wrote that book in like 1 or 2 days, and then I just went right back into, and it was like on my off, it was like on my day off, and I just literally stayed in my room for like 24 hours and just was like that was it. And then I got back, and I started auditioning more, and so like that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm definitely in this moment, and I'm so excited for everybody that did this show. And if you guys have questions about the show, I kind of want to do like a character breakdown. A lot of my castmates have been like doing like lives, and like they're doing press and stuff like that. But because it's like I have my own channel, I can benefit from kind of doing my own interviews. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm just gonna make a whole nother video about like my actual character, and how it was just working on set, and just anything else like that, any kind of type of questions that you guys have, just let me know. But that is my journey. So I didn't start, you know, just at this one network. And I am not the type of person to be like, oh, I don't like that network, or yeah, I'm doing my thing now, I'm over here at Netflix. Like, that's not how I move. Like, I'm grateful for every network I've ever worked with. I'm grateful for every director, for every CEO, for every company owner. I don't have to shade one company just because I'm with another company. Everybody in my journey served its purpose, and I'm happy and I'm grateful for where I am today. Now the holidays are coming up, and I just want to like spend time with my friends, my family, and that's it. Like, I'm so happy for the team that I have, like my management team, my agency, my law firm, like everybody that I have. I'm so grateful for my friends that have been supportive from me from the beginning. I'm so grateful for the teacups that are like, that y'all know what it is. Like, y'all know, like, my whole journey. Y'all have been with me since the beginning, since Vine, since music videos, since just Instagram, just in general, since Wildin' Out, like since commercials, like everything that I've done, like the people that have been here from the beginning and the new people that are here now. Like, this is not my peak. This is not where I'm stopping. I'm going to continue to go and grow, and I'm just so grateful for you guys' support. Like, if I wouldn't have been able to do anything like this though without God. First and foremost, like, God really got me together, and that's one thing that like has happened with me in every experience that I've had in my career. God has been present, and whether it's a whooping or it's a hug, it's God is present, and he does not let me forget that. And I'm just like so grateful for him. And my family's my rock. They've been there for me, and through everything that I've done, whether they thought maybe it wasn't the best decisions, or they thought that, you know, I could, you know, be doing more, or whatever the case is. Like, they've been there, they've supported me, and I'll never stop like being there for them. Like, I do a lot of everything that I have done in my life for them. So I'm just happy I'm in a space where I feel like I don't have to fight for my life anymore. I don't have to sleep in my car or be on EBT, and like, I'm here by the grace of God. Like, so if you have a dream, it's okay to chase it. It's okay to go after it. Dream your dream. Go big. Go, 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 go. I don't know what God has in store for me next, but I know he's not done with me yet. And whatever you're going through right now, because I've been through some shit. So whatever you're going through right now, it will pass. Just give it to God. Just give it to God, and just be grateful, and be more in the moment. Because I feel like, I know people are saying, oh, your time is now, but I still feel like my time is coming. So thank you for watching my video. I love you guys, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Say bye. Go boo boo.